This audiobook, titled Book Title Discipline Holds the Key to Your Dream Door, written by Daniel Craigby and published by the Daniel Book Research Center. All rights are strictly reserved. Any unauthorized copying, distribution, or reproduction of this content will be met with immediate legal action. We hold full copyright ownership, and infringement of these rights will not be tolerated. Violators will face the full extent of the law. This content is protected under copyright regulations, and we actively monitor and enforce our rights. Proceed with caution. Respect the work and the creators behind it.
Introduction. Let me be honest with you right out of the gate. I didn't write this book because I'm some flawless discipline machine who wakes up at 4:30 a.m. and drinks kale with a side of push-ups. Nah, I wrote this because I got sick of my own bullshit. The excuses, the mental negotiations, the I'll start Monday lies. I got tired of quitting on myself. And if you're reading this, there's a good chance you're tired too. This book isn't about motivation. Motivation is like your flaky friend who hypes you up one minute and ghosts you the next. This book is about discipline, the silent assassin of your excuses. It's about doing what you said you'd do, even when Netflix is moaning your name and your inner child wants to throw a tantrum. Here's the kicker. Discipline isn't sexy. It's not fireworks and six-packs and yacht life on Instagram. It's boring, repetitive, uncomfortable, and that's exactly why it works. Because while most people tap out the second it gets hard, the disciplined ones keep showing up, quietly, relentlessly, until the dream door finally cracks open. So don't treat this book like an inspirational poster. Treat it like a tactical guide for war. War against your own laziness, your distractions, your self-sabotage, because you know damn well you're capable of more. And it's time to prove it. Chapter 1. The Lie That's Kept You Comfortable. I'll Start Tomorrow. We've all whispered it like a bedtime prayer. I'll start tomorrow. It's the most seductive lie ever told, wrapped in good intentions, seasoned with fake optimism, and marinated in denial. Tomorrow is the landfill where dreams go to rot. You don't need more time. You need more guts. Let's be real. You don't actually believe tomorrow is going to be some magical, hyper-productive version of today. You just hope the pressure eases and you can keep cruising in low-effort autopilot without guilt. Spoiler, it won't. And that fantasy self you keep deferring to, the one who wakes up early, works out, eats clean, and builds an empire before breakfast? Yeah, that person's being held hostage by your inability to do hard things consistently. Discipline starts the moment you stop negotiating with yourself. Every time you snooze your alarm, skip your workout, blow off your plan, or scroll instead of build, you're casting a vote for the version of you that stays broke, tired, and mad at the world. You don't need a new plan. You need to stop abandoning the old one every time it gets uncomfortable. Here's the kicker. You don't fail because you lack goals. You fail because you treat discipline like an optional lifestyle hack instead of a non-negotiable survival skill. If motivation is the spark, discipline is the generator. And most of you are sitting in the dark wondering why your dreams won't light up. You want to know why you feel stuck? Because your habits are loyal to your comfort, not your future. Your subconscious doesn't care what you say you want. It only obeys what you do. You've trained it to retreat at the first sign of resistance. So now, every time life says, let's go, your inner coward hits the emergency brakes and plays dead. The problem isn't that you're incapable. It's that you keep handing the steering wheel to your weakest emotions. One bad mood, one tired afternoon, one hard day, and boom, you're off track, treating inconsistency like it's some quirky personality trait. Newsflash. It's not cute. It's costing you everything. You want to change your life? Then change your damn patterns. Discipline isn't sexy, but it's undefeated. It shows up with or without applause. It makes you do the reps, finish the task, ignore the noise, and level up even when nobody's clapping. Especially when nobody's clapping. So next time your brain serves up that sweet little "I'll start tomorrow" nonsense, answer it like a savage. No, I'm starting right now. Tired, scared, unprepared. I'm showing up anyway. Because the door to your dream life isn't locked. It's just guarded by the version of you who refuses to quit when it sucks. You ever notice how people talk about discipline like it's some elite trait? Like you either have it or you don't? That's crap. Discipline is not a birthright. It's a brutal decision you make every single day to not let your inner loser win. And yeah, you've got one. We all do. That whispering gremlin that says, "We've done enough for today," after 23 minutes of effort and a snack break. Let me paint you a picture. There's two versions of you. One is a professional excuse machine. It's charming, persuasive, damn near poetic in the way it explains why today's just not the day. That version is undefeated until you get serious. The other version? Cold, calculated. Doesn't care if you're tired or uninspired. That version doesn't wait for conditions to be perfect. It builds while it bleeds. That's the one you need driving the bus. You keep waiting to feel like doing the hard stuff. But here's the ugly truth. Discipline doesn't give a damn about your feelings. The gym doesn't care if you're motivated. Your bank account doesn't care if you're overwhelmed. Your dream life is still out there, collecting dust while you watch just one more episode. And let's be honest, it's never just one. You ever met someone who actually stuck to the plan? They're not superheroes. They're not genetically superior. They just got tired of their own BS. They made discomfort their roommate. They decided that mediocre wasn't worth protecting anymore. That's the only difference. The rest is just noise. Most people don't lack ability. They lack the tolerance to be bored doing the right thing. They quit not because it's hard, but because it's repetitive. Progress is quiet. It's not flashy or dramatic. It's showing up when you don't want to. It's saying no to 100 tiny temptations a day. It's rejecting comfort like it's poison. Because for the ambitious, it is. So what's the move? Simple. You decide. Not once, but again and again and again. You burn the escape routes. You stop labeling yourself lazy like it's some cute little quirk. You recognize it as the self-sabotage it is. And then you go to war with it daily. And when your brain tries to wheel out the greatest hits, "I'm just not feeling it. I need a break. I'll get back on track Monday," you respond with the new anthem. "Shut up. We're doing it anyway." Because here's the final truth. Nobody's coming. Not to save you, not to hype you, not to carry you to the finish line. If you want out of the cycle, you're going to have to dig yourself out with bloody hands, dry eyes, and a work ethic that scares the weak version of you into silence. This is where it begins, not with motivation, not with a vision board, but with one brutal, necessary choice. I'm done negotiating with my limits. I'm done being owned by my excuses. I'm building discipline like it's the only thing that'll get me out alive, because it is. You ever notice how people talk about discipline like it's some elite trait? Like you either have it or you don't. That's crap. Discipline is not a birthright. It's a brutal decision you make every single day to not let your inner loser win. And yeah, you've got one. We all do. That whispering gremlin that says, "We've done enough for today," after 23 minutes of effort and a snack break. Let me paint you a picture. There's two versions of you. One is a professional excuse machine. It's charming, persuasive, damn near poetic in the way it explains why today's just not the day. That version is undefeated until you get serious. The other version, cold, calculated, doesn't care if you're tired or uninspired. That version doesn't wait for conditions to be perfect. It builds while it bleeds. That's the one you need driving the bus. You keep waiting to feel like doing the hard stuff. But here's the ugly truth. Discipline doesn't give a damn about your feelings. The gym doesn't care if you're motivated. Your bank account doesn't care if you're overwhelmed. Your dream life is still out there, collecting dust while you watch just one more episode. And let's be honest, it's never just one. You ever met someone who actually stuck to the plan? They're not superheroes. They're not genetically superior. They just got tired of their own BS. They made discomfort their roommate. They decided that mediocre wasn't worth protecting anymore. That's the only difference. The rest is just noise. Most people don't lack ability. They lack the tolerance to be bored doing the right thing. They quit not because it's hard, but because it's repetitive. Progress is quiet. It's not flashy or dramatic. It's showing up when you don't want to. It's saying no to 100 tiny temptations a day. It's rejecting comfort like it's poison, because for the ambitious, it is. So what's the move? Simple. You decide, not once, but again and again and again, you burn the escape routes. You stop labeling yourself lazy, like it's some cute little quirk. You recognize it as the self-sabotage it is, and then you go to war with it, daily. And when your brain tries to wheel out the greatest hits, I'm just not feeling it, I need a break, I'll get back on track Monday, you respond with the new anthem, shut up, we're doing it anyway. Because here's the final truth. Nobody's coming, not to save you, not to hype you, not to carry you to the finish line. If you want out of the cycle, you're going to have to dig yourself out with bloody hands, dry eyes, and a work ethic that scares the weak version of youth into silence. This is where it begins, not with motivation, not with a vision board, but with one brutal, necessary choice. I'm done negotiating with my limits. I'm done being owned by my excuses. I'm building discipline like it's the only thing that'll get me out alive, because it is. Chapter 2. Burn the backup plan. Why safety nets keep you broke and boring. There's a little voice in your head that whispers, just in case the business fails, just in case the side hustle flops, just in case chasing your dream doesn't pay the bills. That voice? It's a con artist, and it's been robbing you blind since the day you learned to say, Plan B. Now don't get it twisted. I'm not anti-preparation. I'm anti-cowardice disguised as wisdom. You call it being practical. I call it pre-planned failure. See, backup plans are the adult version of wearing floaties in the deep end. Makes you feel safe, but you'll never learn to swim for real. You're not trying to win. You're just trying not to drown. And that ain't the same thing. Let's get brutally honest. Safety nets aren't there to save you. They're there to limit you. They give you just enough comfort to never chase your full potential. You stay in the job you hate for the benefits. You keep that second-rate business idea alive because it's more realistic. Realistic is code for average. Average is code for regret with a day job. The people who break out, they set fire to the exit doors. They don't hope it works. They make it work because they have no other option. And yeah, that level of risk is terrifying. But that's where the real magic lives, in that no way out, burn the boats, fight or die energy that turns humans into beasts and dreams into empires. You want the truth? Most people don't fail because of obstacles. They fail because they left the back door unlocked. And the moment things get uncomfortable, they crawl out, whispering, "At least I tried." Nah, you didn't try. You dabbled. You dipped a toe in the ocean and called yourself a sailor. Meanwhile, someone else dove in head first and built a damn ship while you were still deciding if the water was warm enough. Here's a little slap of perspective. The life you really want? It doesn't have room for your backup plan. It doesn't coexist with fear-based strategy. You can't tiptoe your way to greatness while holding a parachute, because every time it gets hard, you'll yank the cord and float back down to mediocrity. If you want to win for real, you've got to kill the contingency plan. You've got to stop giving your fears a seat at the strategy table. You've got to go all in, not when it feels right, but now, while it's messy and scary and uncertain, because that's when it counts. The dream doesn't go to the smartest or the most connected. It goes to the most committed. The one who walks in, lights the bridge behind them on fire, and says, "Guess I better learn how to swim real fast." That's the edge you need, not fake confidence, not spreadsheets and 5-year plans. Just raw, uncomfortable, skin-in-the-game commitment. No more just in case. From here on out, it's just because I said I would. Okay, so you're fired up. You want to throw your plan B into a wood chipper and declare your undying loyalty to your dream. Good, but let's not get stupid. Going all in doesn't mean going broke overnight and couch surfing for enlightenment. This isn't a Netflix documentary. This is war, and warriors prepare. So here's how to do it like a disciplined savage. 1. Start building the exit door before you set the current one on fire. Don't quit your job today and hope the universe sends a Venmo tomorrow. That's not bold, that's broke with extra steps. Instead, weaponize your free time. Building learn. Stack skills like Legos until you've got something that can carry its own weight. Then when you walk away, it's not a fall, it's a launch. 2. Set a deadline, a real one, with consequences. Most people say things like, "One day I'll quit." You know what one day really means? Never. Put a damn date on the calendar. Write it in permanent marker. Tell your friend who calls you on your crap. If you don't make the leap by then, they get to roast you publicly. Or worse, post your motivational quotes with a clown emoji. 3. Live like it already depends on you, because it does. Even if your dream doesn't pay yet, act like it's your full-time job. Show up early. Stay late. Be weirdly obsessed. This isn't a cute little side gig. It's the foundation of your freedom. And if you treat it like a hobby, that's all it'll ever be. 4. Kill the comfort leaks. Subscriptions, habits, routines. Anything that numbs you into staying put has to go. Comfort is a slow killer dressed in cozy loungewear. You want discipline? Create friction. Get uncomfortable. Wake up earlier than your excuses. Make your environment beg for change. 5. Don't tell everyone. Tell no one. Nothing kills momentum faster than oversharing. You don't need a parade. You need results. Let them wonder why you disappeared for 6 months. Let them choke on their "you still doing that little thing?" when they see the empire you built in silence. 6. Measure by effort, not outcome. Early on, your dream will feel like shouting into a void. No likes, no sales, no applause. Perfect. That's your edge. Most people give up here, but not you. Your job isn't to win yet. It's to outlast. Keep going when no one's clapping. That's discipline. That's how legends are made. 7. Burn the damn plan B. Delete the resume. Cancel the safety backup. Remove the escape hatch. The second you give yourself no choice but forward, your brain stops looking for exits and starts building tunnels. This isn't theory. This is execution. You're not soft launching your dream anymore. You're going full assault mode. You said you wanted freedom? Then prove it. No more if this doesn't work. Only this has to work, and it will, because I won't stop until it does. Chapter 3. Excusefluencer. How your inner talk show host keeps you broke and busy. The addicting high of a good excuse. You ever notice how your brain turns into a full-blown TED Talk machine right before you're about to do something important? Like clockwork, it fires up a speech so convincing you'd swear Morgan Freeman narrated it. You're tired. You've had a long day. Just start tomorrow when you're fresh. The crowd in your head goes wild. You nod like a hostage, agreeing to the terms. Here's the cold truth. Most people don't fail because they suck. They fail because they talk themselves out of success with Olympic-level excuses. We all have an inner excusefluencer, slick, charming, and full of soft lies. It tells you to wait, to prepare, to rest before the real work begins. It's comforting, it's clever, and it's lethal. Excuses feel like protection, but they're a straitjacket tailored in your own voice. We say we don't have time, but we just watched 14 videos on how to be more productive. We say we're not ready, but we've been researching for 3 years. We say we're too tired, but we've had energy to scroll Instagram for 90 minutes straight. Discipline isn't about waking up at 4 a.m. and eating boiled chicken. It's about calling BS on your own clever stories. The problem: excuses are addictive. They come with dopamine. They make you feel safe without actually changing a damn thing. You get to play the victim and the hero in your head. I was going to do it, but insert convenient lie here. You still get to feel smart, but you don't have to risk failure. It's genius, and it's tragic. At some point, you've got to choose the comfort of your excuses or the discomfort of growth. You can't have both. One is sugar, the other is steak. Want a life with no regrets? Then here's your next move. Stop believing the sound of your own limitations. Start treating your thoughts like an interrogation room. Is that really true? Do I actually not have time, or am I choosing not to make time? Is this fatigue or just avoidance in disguise? Excuses are the Netflix of discipline. They autoplay, and before you know it, you've wasted another season of your life. You said you were tired of quitting on yourself? Then it's time to unfollow your inner excusefluencer. So now that we've dragged your comfort zone into the light like a cockroach at 3 a.m., let's talk about the escape plan. First rule, don't wait to feel ready. Readiness is a myth invented by people who want you to buy another course instead of starting. You're not supposed to feel ready. You're supposed to feel nauseous, sweaty, underqualified, and go anyway. You think discomfort is a red flag? Nah, it's a green light in disguise. Growth doesn't wear neon signs. It shows up wearing anxiety and self-doubt. Your brain says, danger, but your future's whispering, finally. Step 1. Schedule discomfort like it's leg day. Stop waiting for life to hit you with a moment of bravery. That's like waiting for a volcano to erupt and saying, now seems like a good time to jog. Wake up and choose the uncomfortable thing. Cold shower, call you've been avoiding. That gym session, writing that first cringe line. Comfort isn't destroyed in one dramatic leap. It's worn down by daily rebellion. Step 2. Tell your people. Not all of them. Just the few who will actually hold you accountable instead of enabling your healing era for the 5th year in a row. Let them know what you're doing, what you're leaving, what you're chasing, and give them permission to check you when you start justifying that old, cozy sabotage. Step 3. Reward the struggle, not just the success. Don't wait until the six-pack shows or the money lands to pat yourself on the back. Celebrate the 5 a.m. wake-up, the skipped snooze, the awkward first attempt. You don't need a trophy, just a reminder that you're not who you used to be. And step 4, burn the damn escape hatch. Too many people keep their maybe I'll go back plan tucked in their back pocket like it's a get-out-of-jail-free card. Nah, that's a self-destruct button. Cut off the return route, delete the app, block the distraction, cancel the subscription to your excuses. Because here's the real twist. Once you live outside your comfort zone long enough, you start to realize something wild. It's not the danger zone. It's the real you zone. Every time you resist the pull of ease, you get closer to the version of you that doesn't need to pretend anymore. The version that finishes what they start. That says no with confidence. That chooses sweat over silence. Discipline, real discipline, is just learning to be comfortable in the wild. And once you taste that life, you'll never settle for safety again. Chapter 5. Your motivation is a liar with great abs. Why waiting to feel like it is the fastest way to stay stuck. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. Motivation is hot garbage. Looks good on Instagram, sounds sexy in a podcast, feels amazing for about 12 minutes, and then, poof, gone, like your New Year's resolution in February. If motivation were a person, it'd be that charming one-night stand who swears they'll text you back and then marries someone else. You don't build a life on that. You don't build freedom, results, or a legacy on I felt inspired today. You build it on what you do when you feel like nothing. Motivation lies because it promises highs without the hangover. It tells you you'll want to go to the gym every morning. It tells you you'll be excited to sit down and work on your dream. It tells you discipline is forcing yourself, and that's toxic. Wrong. Discipline is you loving your future self more than your current craving. It's you choosing delayed dopamine over doom scrolling. Let's be real. Most of your best work, it'll be created when you're tired, when you'd rather binge Netflix, when your brain offers you every excuse like a buffet of sabotage, and that's where the gold lives. That resistance, that's the doorway. Not the sign to quit, but the sign you're exactly where you need to be. Because the people who only show up when they're motivated, they show up once every 17 business days. But the ones who master discipline, they show up daily, ugly, imperfect, half asleep, but present. And that presence is what changes everything. Think about it. Your body doesn't transform because you wanted to work out. Your savings don't grow because you felt frugal. Books aren't written. Businesses aren't built. And lives aren't changed by people who waited for the vibe. They're built by people who moved even when it sucked. So here's the shift. Stop worshiping motivation. Start respecting momentum. Momentum isn't sexy. It's not fireworks. It's quiet, boring, repetitive, but it's powerful. You don't need to be lit up like a TED Talk. You just need to take the next small, ugly, unglamorous step. And when you do that daily, that's not just discipline. That's war. That's you versus every version of you that gave up before. And finally, you're winning. Discipline is boring, and that's why it works. By Daniel Craigby. Let's cut the cute talk. You think you need motivation? Number. You need boredom. The kind that smells like early mornings, unwashed gym clothes, and your alarm clock's ringtone haunting your dreams. Motivation is a one-night stand. Discipline is a 30-year mortgage with leaks. And guess what? It still gets you the house. Here's the hard truth. Everyone wants to win, but nobody wants to be seen sweating. Everyone wants the lifestyle, but nobody wants the days that feel like watching paint dry on a Monday. But it's in those repetitive, numb, grinded out days where champions are built. Not in hype, not in hustle, in quiet, boring consistency. People don't quit because they're weak. They quit because boredom feels like failure. If I'm not excited, it must be wrong. Wrong. If you're bored, you're doing it right. Boredom is a compass. It points straight toward growth. It means your brain isn't getting the dopamine spike it's addicted to. Good. Let it suffer. You're rewiring it. You're taking control back from the toddler in your skull, screaming for sugar, shortcuts, and scrolling. You want financial freedom? Then get financially boring. Automated savings, index funds, budgeting, no Ferraris, no flashy flexes, just quiet wins. You want a better body? Same gym, same reps, same chicken and rice, no shred in 6 days garbage, just quiet, daily, microscopic improvements. You want mental peace? Shut up and meditate every single day. Even when it feels like nothing's happening, because something is. Here's the secret you won't hear on those flashy TikTok reels. Boredom is a feature, not a flaw. It's the quiet furnace that burns away the old you. It's the filter separating the tourists from the residents of disciplined town. Population, very, very few. And when everyone else is quitting because it's not fun anymore, you're still showing up. Head down, work done, and you won't even need to say, I'm different. People will feel it. So next time you're tempted to quit because it's boring, smile. You just hit gold. You want a six-pack life. Get comfortable with 6 months of doing what nobody claps for. That's the game. The lie of balance. Why chasing balance is screwing you over. By Daniel Craigby. You've been lied to. Sold a Pinterest-perfect fantasy with soft lighting and color-coded calendars. Balance, they said. Find your balance. Like life is a damn yoga class. Here's the truth. Balance isn't real. Not for people who want to win. You don't get to build a dream life by making everything even. You build it by tipping the damn scale, by going all in, by letting some things bleed while you master others. Yeah, your social life might take a hit. Your Netflix time might flatline. But guess what? That's the toll booth price for crossing the bridge to greatness. The problem is, everyone wants to be well-rounded. Newsflash. Diamonds aren't round. They're sharp. They cut through anything soft. If you want to be extraordinary, you're going to look imbalanced to ordinary people. Good. Let them judge. You think Elon Musk has balance? That man forgets to eat lunch. Think Oprah built an empire on me time? Hell no. The people at the top aren't balanced. They're obsessed, focused, committed. Balance is what people chase when they're too scared to choose. Let me say it louder. Discipline doesn't fit into balance. It bulldozes through it. You don't train for a marathon by fitting it in. You make everything else orbit around it. You want to launch a business? Relationships, hobbies, downtime. They'll have to take a back seat while you bleed for it. But here's the beautiful irony. Once you get where you're going, once discipline drags you across that finish line, you earn the kind of freedom where balance is finally possible. Not before. People say, don't burn out. I say, don't rust out. You're not here to coast. You're here to collide with the edges of your potential and leave a dent in this timeline. So stop obsessing over balance. Start obsessing over building. And when you're done building, you'll have options no balanced person ever dreamed of. Discipline first, balance later. That's the blueprint. The lie of balance. Why chasing balance is screwing you over. By Daniel Craigby. Let's paint a picture. You're trying to juggle 5 things: job, fitness, relationship, side hustle, and sleep. You got alarms, timers, habit trackers, and a guilt complex that could crush a bear. You keep saying, I just need to find balance, like it's some magical unicorn that shows up when your planner finally runs out of blank pages. Wrong. You don't need balance. You need priority. Ruthless, unapologetic priority. You need to decide what season you're in. Building season? Then that means saying no to happy hour and yes to late nights with spreadsheets and sore muscles. Healing season? Then it's time to drop the grind and sit your ass down to recalibrate. Trying to balance everything at once just makes sure you do everything poorly? You want to get fit and build a business and be a perfect partner? Cool story. Tell it to someone who still believes in fairy tales. The real ones know you can't microwave success. You slow cook it, one obsession at a time. The people who win at life, they don't balance. They tilt strategically, intentionally. They throw their whole weight into what matters most right now. They're not trying to make everyone happy. They're trying to make progress. So how do you tilt without toppling? Simple. You communicate. Tell your circle, hey, I'm locked in right now. I still care, but this chapter requires tunnel vision. If they're real, they'll understand. If they don't, they were dead weight anyway. And no, this doesn't mean becoming a selfish robot. It means understanding the rhythm of your life. Sometimes you're building, sometimes you're coasting, sometimes you're recovering. But you can't do all three at once. Trying to live balanced keeps you stuck in neutral. Discipline knows the difference. Discipline isn't scared to look extreme. It's not about being reckless. It's about being relentless. And here's the part they never put on your motivational posters. Being unbalanced is often the only way to get what you want. The house you want, the freedom you dream of, the respect you crave. They don't show up because you were well-rounded. They show up because you were locked in. Tunnel vision is not a flaw. It's a strategy. Let your friends chase balance. You chase results. This chapter isn't about burning out. It's about burning bright, knowing when to go all in and when to pull back. That's not chaos. That's leadership. That's mastery. So stop buying into the balance cult. Life's not about symmetry. It's about momentum. Trade balance for breakthroughs. Tilt hard. Adjust later. Keep climbing. Chapter 7. The comfort zone is a liar that hugs you while it kills you. I used to think comfort was the goal. A nice routine, decent paycheck, no major drama. But here's the thing. Comfort is seductive. It makes you feel safe while quietly draining your ambition. You don't even notice it happening. One skipped gym day turns into a month. One, I'll start tomorrow, becomes a year. And just like that, you're stuck in the waiting room of your own damn life. We like to think the comfort zone is cozy, like a hoodie fresh out of the dryer. But it's really a padded cell. It's disguised as self-care, but it's often self-sabotage in silk pajamas. The comfort zone promises peace, but delivers regret. And the worst part? It never announces itself as the villain. It lets you slowly rot in a loop of me while life speeds past. Here's a dirty little truth. Growth is uncomfortable. Change is awkward. Evolution feels like ego death. But that pain, that tension, that's the signal you're alive and not just surviving on autopilot. Discipline kicks in when your brain starts whispering, but we're tired. Let's rest. Nah, that's not rest. That's rust. You think lions wake up saying, I'll hunt next week? Number. They move or they die. You? You skip the workout because it's raining. You pass on the side hustle because Netflix dropped a new show. The comfort zone is the place where dreams go to die. Quietly, politely, without a fight. Now, here's the mind bender. Discipline isn't the opposite of comfort. It's the tool that builds real, earned comfort. The kind that comes after doing the hard stuff, after putting in the reps, after choosing action over apathy. When you earn your comfort, it feels different. It tastes like victory, not sedation. So if you're feeling stuck, uninspired, or just flatlining through life, it's not because you're broken, you're just cozy in a coffin lined with excuses. Time to get up. Time to make yourself uncomfortable on purpose. That's how you know you're growing. That's how you know you're still in the fight. And if you're not uncomfortable at least once a day, you're probably not moving forward. You're just existing on cruise control while the clock ticks down. Discomfort is the real-life coach you've been avoiding. You ever notice how the moment things get uncomfortable, we start negotiating with ourselves? Maybe I don't need to go that hard today. I'll just do it later. I deserve a break. Nah, what you deserve is the truth. And here it is. Growth never shows up in a bathrobe. It shows up wearing steel-toed boots, dragging your lazy mindset out of bed and into the fire. Let's talk practical. That dream body, dream job, dream life, all hiding behind things that suck, early alarms, awkward first attempts, working while others binge watch, failing in public, starting over again and again. Discomfort is the toll booth to everything you actually want. Most people see discomfort and U-turn. High performers? They see it and lean in. They know the sting of showing up half prepared is nothing compared to the pain of staying the same. So what do you do when you feel the pull of the comfort zone wrapping around you like a weighted blanket of mediocrity? You move, you act, you break the cycle before it breaks you. Stack your discomfort. Do one thing a day that makes you twitch. Cold shower? Take it. Difficult convo? Start it. New routine? Lock it in. Your comfort zone will scream, beg, cry. Ignore it. It's just your old self throwing a tantrum. Because here's the paradox. The more you choose discomfort, the more confident you become. Not because you're superhuman, but because you know you can handle heat. You've trained your nervous system to stop flinching every time life punches you in the face. The comfort zone wants to sell you peace. But what it really sells is potential, pawned off for cheap dopamine hits. Choose discomfort now or choke on regret later. Those are the only two currencies. And if you're still sitting there waiting for motivation to save you, spoiler, it isn't coming. But discipline, discomfort, they're already outside, banging on your door. Time to let them in. If you're waiting for the right time, you're already losing. We love the idea of someday. It's warm. It's safe. It never judges. It lets us fantasize without committing. Someday I'll start that business. Someday I'll quit drinking. Someday I'll stop being a walking contradiction. Newsflash. Someday is a graveyard of dead intentions. The people who get what they want out of life, they didn't wait for permission from the universe. They didn't check the weather, horoscope, or whether Mercury was in retro whatever. They just started. Broke, scared, unprepared. But they started. Because the clock isn't your friend. It's a thief. It steals your prime years while you're scrolling motivational quotes, and pretending mental clutter is research. You want to know what separates the doers from the dreamers? The doers stopped flirting with the idea of change and married the process. They didn't ask, is this the perfect time? They asked, can I live with who I'll become if I don't start now? Let's get brutally honest. The right time is a myth cooked up by your survival brain to keep you out of danger, aka growth. But you're not dodging danger. You're dodging discomfort, responsibility, and the mirror. Real talk. The person who delays their discipline because things aren't lined up yet will delay their freedom for a lifetime. Conditions don't create momentum. Action does. And guess what? That thing you've been avoiding, the hard phone call, the uncomfortable workout, the lonely night of discipline over distraction, yeah, that thing is the toll booth to your next level. You don't get through it with vibes and vision boards. You get through it by showing up when it's inconvenient, messy, and unglamorous. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they don't start when it's ugly. Because they want a clean launch, not a scrappy crawl. Well, here's your permission to crawl. Limp. Bleed into your progress if you have to. Just don't sit in the waiting room of almost ready while your goals rot in the basement. People talk about burnout, but rarely talk about rot out, that soul decay that happens when you lie to yourself every day with a smile. So let me ask you, what lie are you living right now because it's easier than discipline? You already know the answer, and it's been haunting you at 2 a.m. while you pretend you're just thinking things through. Here's the raw truth. The version of you that keeps waiting for alignment, support, or a sign is the same version that will still be stuck 5 years from now. You can hate this chapter. You can love it. Just don't ignore it. Because every minute you stall is a minute the life you want gets further out of reach. Discipline isn't a buzzword. It's a contract. You either sign it with your actions or you rip it up with your delays. And guess what? No one's coming to renegotiate that contract for you. So what now? You either move or you stay seated. But just know, time's not slowing down, and your dreams aren't going to politely wait for you to feel like it. You don't need another course, another book, another deep talk with a friend. You need a damn decision. Let's flip to, from Daniel Craigby's Discipline Holds, the key to your dream door. They'll say they don't have time, but somehow they watch 27 episodes of a show they didn't even like that much. They'll say they're tired, but they were wide awake doom scrolling until 2:47 a.m. They'll say they're overwhelmed, but they still found the energy to argue with strangers in the comments section. Excuses don't have to be loud to be lethal. Most of them whisper. Real smooth operators. The funny thing, excuses wear disguises. I just need to rest my mind. Sounds noble until it becomes a 3-hour nap and 2 days of self-pity. I'll start Monday. Feels like a plan. Until it's 3 Mondays later and your sneakers are still clean. And my personal favorite, I just want it to feel right, as if your dreams are waiting on vibes. Here's what I learned the hard way. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It cares about what you do. Feelings are weather. Discipline is architecture. And here's a truth bomb that might sting. Most people aren't lazy. They're addicted to easy dopamine, to comfort, to that tiny high of not trying and getting away with it until they don't. Because excuses have a cost. Every "I'll do it tomorrow" gets deducted from your dream fund. Every skipped rep, every broken promise, every goal you postpone. You're not just delaying progress, you're building a habit of betrayal. And let me tell you, betraying yourself is the most expensive mistake you'll ever make. People wait for motivation, but motivation is the flaky friend who always cancels last minute. Discipline is the one that shows up, rain or shine, and says, let's go. The shift happens when you stop asking, do I feel like it? And start asking, who do I want to be at the end of this year? Because the version of you who gets everything they want, they aren't powered by moods. They're powered by mindset. You don't kill excuses by screaming at them. You kill them by starving them. No negotiations, no extensions. Just do the damn thing. Because while the world is over there, sipping excuses like bottomless mimosas, you're in the gym of life, of money, of mindset, putting in the reps, quietly, repeatedly. And then one day, you'll look around and realize you've become the person your excuses were afraid of. Keep moving. No explanations, just results. Chapter 9, The Invisible Contract, Part A, from Daniel Craigby's Discipline Holds the Key to Your Dream Door. Here's the part nobody talks about. The moment you say, I'm going to change my life, the universe leans in, smirks, and hands you a pen. What for? To sign a contract, invisible, binding, ruthless. It's the unspoken agreement between you and who you say you want to become. You don't remember signing it, but every time you hit snooze, skip the plan, or make a just this once excuse, you're breaking it. No alarms go off. No one calls you out. But the damage starts stacking. Quietly, silently, one invisible penalty at a time. Discipline isn't just about routines. It's about loyalty to yourself, to the vision, to that late-night version of you that swore you were done being average. You remember that one, right? The you that sat in the car outside the gym and whispered, this time it's different. The you that stared at your bank app and muttered, I can't keep living like this. That version of you was signing the contract in blood, sweat, and fed-up frustration. It wasn't a goal, it was a decision, a dare, a silent scream into the void that said, I refuse to die with potential. But here's the catch. The contract comes with fine print. No applause, no shortcuts, no refund if you ghost on the process. Most people never read the fine print. They're all about the hype at the start. New planners, new apps, new gym shoes. But discipline? Discipline's not sexy. It's showing up to work when no one claps. It's eating boring meals while your friends post wings and beers. It's reading when you'd rather scroll. It's being misunderstood while you build a life no one else can see yet. It's trusting that the version of you 6 months from now will thank you for saying no today. And it hurts, not because it's hard, but because no one else sees the contract. They think you're weird for saying no, for waking up early, for skipping the party. They don't get it. They didn't sign it. You did. Every early morning, every lonely Friday night, every time you say, no thanks, I've got work to do, you're honoring that invisible signature. You're casting a vote for the future you. And here's the twist. Every small choice is a vote. You either vote for the old you, the comfort-addicted, excuse-making, let's start on Monday version, or the new you, the one who's allergic to compromise and tired of starting over. This contract doesn't care about how you feel. It doesn't bend for mood swings or lazy days. It only recognizes actions. It doesn't ask for hustle porn or burnout. It just wants proof. Tiny, consistent proof. If you disappear for a week, it doesn't scream. It just gets cold. If you ghost it for a month, it doesn't beg. It replaces you with someone else who stayed loyal. That's the brutal beauty of it. Discipline doesn't chase. It waits. And when you're ready to stop flaking on your own damn self, it's still there, waiting, with a raised eyebrow and a ticking clock. The invisible contract is what separates the ones who kinda want it from the ones who are done negotiating with mediocrity. It's not a trend. It's not a hashtag. It's a blueprint for reinvention. And once you sign it, there's no going back. Not unless you're cool with being haunted by the version of you that almost made it. Discipline and the art of not ghosting. Your own life. You ever ghosted someone, left a text on read, vanished mid-convo, disappeared like your gym motivation after day 3? Yeah, we've all done it. But here's the kicker. Most of us are out here ghosting ourselves. We make plans, set goals, promise things to our future self, and then vanish. Poof, gone. As if that future version of us doesn't have to clean up the mess. Discipline is the art of not ghosting your own life. It's showing up every damn day, even when no one's watching and the mood left the chat. You don't need another inspirational quote on your feed. You need to stop treating your life like an optional subscription you can cancel anytime. You say you're tired of starting over? Then stop quitting. That's the formula. That's it. Discipline isn't loud. It's not sexy. It doesn't show up with confetti and dopamine. It shows up like black coffee at 6 a.m. Bitter, honest, and exactly what you need. You don't need another app. You need some balls and a calendar. You don't need motivation. You need a system that doesn't care how you feel today. Because when you let your feelings drive the bus, don't be surprised when you crash into a ditch called same spot I was last year. Schedule your day like your future depends on it, because it literally does. Build a routine that makes skipping it feel like betrayal. When your life feels chaotic, it's usually because you've outsourced control to your worst habits. Discipline is just you reclaiming the wheel. And no, you don't need to overhaul everything overnight. You need to pick one promise, one small, non-negotiable habit, and defend it like it's your last lifeline. Because it is. That's how it starts. That's how it always starts. The truth is, no one's coming to save you. No new month, new year, new moon ritual is going to rewrite your story. It's just you, the clock, and your decision to either ghost yourself again or finally show the hell up. Chapter 10. Your comfort zone has mold and you're still sleeping in it. Let's get this out of the way. Comfort zones aren't cozy havens of peace. They're padded cells dressed up as safe spaces, soft, predictable, and slowly killing your potential like carbon monoxide, silent and sneaky. Most people don't even realize they've been living in one until they wake up a decade older with the same complaints and a back that suddenly needs a special pillow. We glamorize comfort like it's some luxury. It's not. It's a trap with good Wi-Fi. And discipline? Discipline is the jailbreak plan no one wants to execute because it requires effort, discomfort, and the one thing most people hate, change. Ask yourself this. Are you comfortable or are you stuck? Are you playing it safe or are you just scared of sucking at something new? Because the most dangerous place to be is somewhere that's not painful enough to make you move, but not exciting enough to make you grow. Here's the brutal truth. Everything you want lives on the other side of, ugh, this sucks. The six-pack, the savings account, the side hustle that pays more than your 9-to-5 soul drain. All of it requires you to get uncomfortable, repeatedly, painfully, on purpose. You don't become great by binge-watching motivational videos. You become great by doing reps of discipline, of effort, of, I really don't feel like it, but I said I would. The comfort zone will try to whisper, take it easy. You deserve a break. Discipline whispers back, shut up. We've got work to do. The people you admire. They didn't get there by playing it safe. They got there by being uncomfortable. So often it became their new baseline. They made discomfort their roommate. They ate awkward for breakfast. If your daily routine never makes you nervous, challenged, or just a little bit sweaty, congrats, you're settling. And the worst part? Settling feels fine until it doesn't. Until regret shows up like a debt collector with receipts. And when it does, it's ruthless. It won't care that you meant to, or were gonna, or just needed more time. It only cares about what you didn't do. You say you want financial freedom, but you won't leave your broke mindset behind. You say you want change, but you treat your goals like a casual weekend fling. Fun until it requires real commitment. You're not tired, you're undisciplined. There's a difference. Tired is a reason. Undisciplined is an excuse. And here's the kicker. Your brain is a master negotiator, always trying to strike a deal that benefits comfort over courage. It'll offer you a nap when you need to work, a scroll when you need to write, a snack when you need to stretch. If you don't control it, it will control you. So how do you burn that damn comfort zone down? First, stop labeling discomfort as danger. Being nervous isn't a red flag. It's a green light for growth. Second, don't wait to feel ready. That feeling's a scam. It's the brain's way of stalling so it can stay in the known. Third, choose your hard. Growth is hard. Regret is harder. Discipline isn't punishment. It's the door key to everything you're craving: freedom, power, peace. But you can't unlock that door if you're too scared to jiggle the handle. The mold in your comfort zone, it's spreading. And it's eating away at the future you swore you wanted. Time to pack your things, light the match, and walk out. No more soft landings, just bold exits. Let's go. I woke up one morning, looked at my to-do list, and immediately wanted to go back to bed. Not because I was lazy, because I was overwhelmed by the 52 things I had agreed to that had nothing to do with my actual goals. You ever feel that? Like your calendar was hijacked by some overly ambitious version of yourself? Or worse, someone else's expectations entirely. This is the part where most people spiral. You look at all the chaos, sigh dramatically, and tell yourself, maybe I'll just start next week. But that next week turns into next month. Then it's the holidays. Then it's your birthday. Then you're at a party telling someone, yeah, I'm planning to get back on track soon. We both know that's code for I've given up, but I'm too embarrassed to admit it. Here's the cold truth. Discipline doesn't wait for your life to calm down. It shows up in the mess. If you only train yourself to show up when it's convenient, you'll stay soft your whole life. And by soft, I don't mean emotionally sensitive. I mean directionless, distracted, and dependent on motivation that only shows up when you feel like a superhero. Real discipline, it's quiet. It doesn't post about itself. It doesn't throw a party when you check off a habit tracker. It just gets up, does the thing, and moves on. No applause, no dopamine loop, just results. But let's make it tactical. How do you rebuild discipline when your willpower is at rock bottom? You start with constraints. Yes, boundaries. The same stuff people with no discipline love to resist. You make fewer decisions. You limit your options. You force yourself to operate within a system. You say, I'm only allowed to eat out once a week, or I don't check my phone before 10 a.m. Then you follow through like your life depends on it, because it kind of does. Second, you reduce friction. Set out your clothes the night before, delete the apps, automate your finances. Discipline becomes easier when you're not tripping over your own nonsense every morning. Make bad habits harder and good ones stupidly simple. That's how you trick your lazy brain into acting like a high performer. Lastly, build your identity. If you don't see yourself as someone who follows through, you'll sabotage every system you build. Identity drives behavior. You become the kind of person who doesn't negotiate with laziness, who doesn't make excuses, who doesn't need an Instagram quote to go for a run. Discipline is who you are when no one's watching. It's not sexy, it's not viral, but it's the only thing that moves you from dreaming about your dream life to actually living it. Everything else is just noise. Chapter 11, The Great Distraction Heist, How Your Time Got Jacked Without You Even Noticing, by Daniel Craigby. It starts small. One notification, one scroll, one quick check that somehow eats half your lunch break. You tell yourself, I'm just winding down, but let's call it what it is. You just got robbed. Not of money. Worse, of time. The only currency you can't earn back. And the thief? A smiling app icon that lives rent-free in your phone and your mind. Let me hit you with a harsh truth most people will dodge till their deathbed. You're not busy. You're distracted. There's a difference. And one's killing your dreams softly, while the other is just your ego trying to stay relevant. We live in the age of optional suffering. You don't have to be miserable, unfocused, or behind on your life. You choose to be every time you dive headfirst into that dopamine bath of doom scrolling. Don't worry, I've drowned in it too. But here's where the plot twist begins. Discipline isn't about saying no to fun. It's about saying yes to freedom, the kind that doesn't vanish when the Wi-Fi drops. Ever wonder why you can't focus for more than 20 minutes anymore? Why starting feels like dragging a truck uphill with your teeth? It's not your attention span that's broken. It's your boundaries. Everything's engineered to hijack your brain and sell it back to you in 15-second bursts of nonsense. Your peace of mind is on the clearance rack, and you're clicking Add to Cart. Here's the worst part. You've normalized it. You joke about it. Ha ha ha. I watched 6 hours of YouTube instead of starting my side hustle. Cute. Except your dreams are on fire in the background, waving for help, and you're too busy watching cat videos in 4K. I'm not saying delete everything and move to the woods. I'm saying stop giving your prime hours to platforms designed to drain you. It's not about quitting tech. It's about reclaiming ownership. You can't expect to live a focused life if your daily diet is chaos. The truth is, most people don't fail because they're lazy. They fail because they live in a constant state of digital noise. Clarity doesn't come from motivation. It comes from cutting the crap that's clouding your mind. That starts with identifying the hidden habits stealing your time, like thieves in expensive UX design. We're about to go full detective mode in Part B, gloves on, lights dimmed, because by the time we're done, you won't just spot distractions. You'll dismantle them like you're the FBI raiding a bad habits hideout. Ready? Let's clean house. The Great Distraction. Heist. Reclaiming Your Focus. Like a Time-Bending Ninja, by Daniel Craigby. Let's get surgical. First, identify your leak points. These are the exact moments your brain slips into autopilot and your day goes straight to hell. Maybe it's the quick scroll while coffee brews. Maybe it's the YouTube rabbit hole that turns a 10-minute break into a lost afternoon. Doesn't matter. What matters is that you name your distractions, because what you don't name, you can't tame. Now weapon up with a 3D framework. Delete, delay, dominate, delete. Ruthlessly eliminate apps, tabs, even people that don't add ROI to your day. If your phone has more red notification dots than a sniper's night vision, start hitting uninstall like your life depends on it, because it kinda does. Delay. Can't delete it. Delay it. Set hard boundaries. No social media before noon. No emails first thing. Why? Because your brain is freshest in the morning, and you're feeding it garbage. Save junk food for the evening, not your brain fuel. Dominate. Use your time like a sniper uses bullets. Precise, deliberate, lethal to distractions. Block calendar chunks for focused work. Use do not disturb like it's a spiritual practice. People will get mad. Let them. You're not here to please everyone. You're here to stop being owned by your impulses. Now let's talk replacement therapy. You don't just quit bad habits. You replace them with harder, better, smarter ones. Instead of checking your phone, check your plan. Instead of reacting, schedule. Instead of numbing out, level up. Stack momentum in small wins. 15 minutes of deep work, one completed task, one more box ticked on your dream blueprint. Most of all, remember this. Distraction is not a character flaw. It's a design flaw. The system isn't built to make you successful. It's built to keep you scrolling. But you're done playing pawn. You're flipping the board. So start treating your time like it's sacred. Because it is. You don't need more apps. You need more intention. And once you learn to spot the heist in real time, you become the one no algorithm can hijack. You walk different. You speak different. You move like someone who knows. Discipline is the most rebellious act left in a world addicted to distraction. One chapter left. And it's not just a finish line. It's the final round in a war you've been losing quietly. Let's flip the ending. Let's make it legendary. Chapter 12. The Final Promise. Why Discipline is the Realest Form of Self-Respect. By Daniel Craigby. Most people will never finish what they started. That's not an insult. It's a prophecy, backed by 1,000 abandoned journals, unused gym memberships, and half-built dreams. But you made it here, and that's not an accident. That's discipline flexing in the shadows. Let's talk about respect. Not the flashy, performative, look at me now kind. The quiet kind. The kind that happens when no one's clapping, no one's looking, and you still show up. That's self-respect. That's discipline. And that's the difference between the ones who talk and the ones who walk through the door of their dreams. Most of your life, you've been taught that love is loud, that confidence is visible, that success is posted. But here's the scandal. The realest version of all those things is silent. Love shows up in action. Confidence walks in without needing an announcement. And discipline? It's the shadow that builds your life while ego's out there trying to get likes. Every time you say you'll do something, and then don't, you chip away at your identity. Not publicly, internally, quietly. Until your self-esteem becomes like a mattress that's been slept on too long in one spot. Sunken, sad, lopsided. But every time you follow through, every time you do it when it's not convenient, not sexy, not fun, that's a rep. And reps build trust. Not just in the gym, in your soul. Let me guess, you've had moments, flashes of the future, that dream body, that business, that freedom, that version of you who walks like they've got gravity in their pocket. But then came excuses, detours, doubt dressed as logic. And suddenly, you're back on the couch, wondering how another year passed with nothing to show but screen time stats. But not anymore, because you've seen the trick. Motivation is a mirage. Discipline is water. One looks good, the other keeps you alive. And no, you're not lazy. You're not broken. You're just wired for comfort in a world that sells easy. But what you crave, what you really crave, is proof. Proof that you can trust yourself. And that proof doesn't come from reading books or watching YouTube reels with epic music. It comes from doing the boring shahti every damn day, even when it sucks, especially when it sucks. Discipline is saying no when your body's begging for yes. It's the second wind at 11:30 p.m. when you'd rather scroll yourself to sleep. It's waking up sore, cranky, annoyed, and still doing what future you is silently begging you to do. Because here's the thing, no one's coming. Not to save you, not to push you, not to make it easier. It's you. It's always been you. And once you own that, really own that, You become unstoppable, not because it's easy, but because you finally understand that ease was never the goal. Ownership was. So if you're still here, after all the false starts, broken promises, quiet restarts, then you're ready. Ready to stop waiting for the mood and start living by the mission. Discipline is the mission. Not because it's trendy, but because it works. This isn't the end. It's the anchor, the reminder, the final promise to yourself that you're done negotiating with comfort, done flirting with mediocrity, done breaking up and making up with your potential. Discipline is the love language of success. And now that you speak it, there's no going back. Let's finish this strong. The retirement lie. Why most people die before they're dead. You ever meet someone who retired at 60 but started dying at 45? It's not because their body gave out. It's because their fire did. The lie we've been sold is that retirement is the reward, the final boss level, the trophy after decades of dragging ourselves through work weeks we hated. But here's the hard truth. Retirement, the way it's marketed, is a coffin with better lighting. For years, you're told to grind, save, sacrifice. Later becomes your religion, after the kids grow up, after the mortgage, after I hit that number. Then one day, you hit that number and realize you have no idea what to do with yourself. The engine's still running, but the GPS just went black. And instead of purpose, you get pastimes. Instead of legacy, you get lawn care. But discipline, the real kind, doesn't retire. It doesn't clock out. Discipline is what separates the men who age like wine from the ones who rot like milk. You want to be dangerous at 70? Keep a schedule. Wake up before the sun. Read, train, lead, build something. Not because you have to, but because you still can. This chapter isn't about money. It's about momentum. If you've spent your life chasing weekends, you'll spend retirement chasing meaning. And most people never catch it. They get bored. They get soft. They disappear in plain sight. You can feel their energy fade. They stop asking hard questions. Stop trying new things. Their days become predictable. Their goals evaporate. And without goals, there's no edge. Without edge, you become harmless. And a harmless man. That's a tragedy. Let me paint you the alternative. Imagine you retire, but your fire doesn't. You start a nonprofit, mentor young hustlers, learn to box, travel with purpose, not just postcards. Speak, write, serve. You don't shrink. You evolve. The mission changes, but the engine stays on. That's the game. And if you think you're too old to start over, let me hit you with this. Colonel Sanders didn't fry his first fortune until he was 65. Raymond Chandler didn't write his first novel until his 50s. Age is just the excuse you use when you've gotten lazy about growth. The world doesn't need you to slow down. It needs you to show up with wisdom, scars, and something to say. Because the ultimate form of discipline, living like your time, is still valuable, even when no one's asking for it. That's where fulfillment lives. Not in early exits, but in extended missions. In proving to yourself that your best chapter isn't your first one, it's the one you write after everyone assumes you're done. So retire if you want. Take the trip. Buy the boat. But don't you dare stop chasing purpose. Don't hang up your boots when the climb gets quiet. Because a man with discipline doesn't just survive retirement. He weaponizes it. He turns his free time into legacy. He doesn't fade. He sharpens. Your dream door never closes unless you stop knocking. The door was never locked. You were. Let's cut through the fog. You've been waiting for motivation. Like it's some Amazon package you forgot you ordered. But discipline? Discipline doesn't knock. It kicks the damn door open. That's the whole point of this book. Your dream isn't waiting on a sign. It's waiting on you to stop stalling. The truth is, you already know what needs to be done. You've known for years. The workouts you skip, the budget you avoid, the job you hate but won't leave, the side hustle you swear you'll start after things calm down. Spoiler alert, they won't. Things don't calm down. You do. Every chapter you just read wasn't advice. It was a mirror. And maybe you didn't like what you saw. Good. That discomfort, that's not weakness. That's awareness. Most people numb it. You didn't. You leaned in. You read the whole damn thing. That already separates you from 90% of the population. Now here's the deal. Discipline isn't a tool. It's not something you pull out when life gets messy. It's not something you feel. It's a decision, a character trait, a quiet agreement you make with yourself every single day. No audience, no applause, just you versus you in the dark. And financial freedom? It's not about yachts and passive income quotes. It's about choices. Waking up one day and not owing your time to anyone. That kind of freedom doesn't come from hacks. It comes from habits. And habits come from doing boring Shashwatch consistently until they become sacred. So here we are. Final page. No motivational music. No rags to riches story. Just a challenge. Open the door, not because you're ready, but because you're done waiting. You're not stuck. You're just undisciplined. Fix that, and watch every locked door in your life silently swing open.